Hello, my name is Karina and this is my perfume app. Today I wanted to talk about 10 fragrances that are worth checking out. 10 inexpensive fragrances that I think are worth checking out, and also that you might want to consider getting before it's too late. What I have learned in the last year, really just even in the last few months, is sometimes when a fragrance becomes very, very inexpensive, it's because it's about to disappear. And then once it disappears, it can become very expensive. Like, we're talking about a fragrance that might go from like $8 to almost overnight being $70, because that $8 was the last of what was available, and now it's gone, and now the price has gone way up because it's scarce. So these are all interesting fragrances. I will try to make it clear what I think is interesting about them and why I think they're worth picking up. So the first one I want to show you is French Connection UK For Her. This fragrance was interesting to me because it was only $11 on eBay. I had heard people talk about French Connection UK fragrances before, but I had never tried any. And when I looked this one up, it said on Fragrantica that the perfumer is Geza Schoen, who is the owner and creator of the Eccentric Molecules fragrances. And I really liked Molecule 1. I think that's the only one I've tried. I actually bought a little sample of it on Scent Split, and I just recently ordered another sample of it on Scent Split because they had a coupon that they gave me, and then that 5 ml was only like $12. So I thought, okay, I'll just try it again before I go for like a full bottle. A full bottle, I think, is in the $150 to $200 range. My understanding is that perfumer created this, and this is a floral powdery woody. Now, one thing I have discovered while looking at perfumers is sometimes there's a discrepancy, because if I look on other websites, it will say that the perfumer behind this fragrance is James Krivda, who I am familiar with because of, like, mostly because of Britney Spears Fantasy, but he's made a lot of perfumes, a lot of celebrity perfumes and a lot of designer perfumes. But when I research further, I can find Geza Schoen's on this fragrance on other things, other websites, I think on his bio. So maybe it was a joint, maybe it was something where both of those perfumers worked on it, or, you know, I don't really know. This is a floral powdery woody fragrance. When I first tried it, I thought, does this remind me of Elizabeth Arden True Love? And it doesn't when I smell them side by side, but when I'm not smelling them side by side, they remind me of each other. I do get something kind of fresh and woody. It's a lot more floral though. It's a lot sweeter than something like, if I'm comparing it to Molecule 1. Molecule 1 to me kind of smells like wet cardboard or like the post office, but in like a really pleasant way. But this is nice. It's kind of musky, woody. It is like a Your Skin But Better scent, but a little bit, maybe like a little bit too floral to exactly call it that. But for $11, I think it's worth checking out, especially because I think at that price, it's sort of a sign that maybe it's not going to last. And a weird bottle to me too can kind of be a sign that like this won't be around forever, because they won't want to keep making the bottle. And this definitely is a weird bottle. Okay, so the next one I want to show you, I talked about this before, but I just think it's really interesting. This is Pierre Cardin Pour Femme. And the nose behind this is, I think it's Benoist Lapouza, and it's the same perfumer behind Angel Share. And the reason why I think that's kind of interesting is because the notes in this fragrance are cinnamon, orange, apple, and blackcurrant, violet, jasmine, lily of the valley, rose, and hawthorn. Base notes of nectarine, caramel, sandalwood, vanilla, musk, tonka, amber, cedar, patchouli, and vetiver. So if you pick out certain things like cinnamon, apple, maybe hawthorn, caramel, vanilla, musk, tonka, amber, you kind of see something that like maybe could have evolved into Angel Share. So this smells really good. I get a lot of the hawthorn and tonka. The difference between this and something like Angel Share is there's not a boozy quality, And then I smell cinnamon, orange, and apple for sure, but they're really subtle. Like it's a really subtle perfume. But I still think this smells really good. And if you just like the idea of getting something kind of pre-Angel Share by the same perfumer, this was I think about $11 on eBay. And yeah, I think it's worth getting. And in the same bottle and with almost the same name, we have Pierre Cardin Pour Femme La Intense. Sorry, La Intense. This smells nothing like the other one, so it's weird that it's the same name, but like, I mean, it kind of looks like it would be an intense version, but it doesn't smell like it at all. This one was $8 on eBay, and this has bergamot and freesia and lily and heliotrope and jasmine and violet and sandalwood and vanilla. I don't have anything else in my collection that smells like this. When I first spray it on my skin, I do get something that kind of smells kind of like pee. And I'm wondering if it's like the jasmine. Not in like a super bad way, like in a pee perfume kind of way. I mean, some people are like really into that. But as it dries down, you do get the heliotrope and like a nice violet kind of vanilla fragrance. It smells very smooth and like almost gourmand in the dry down. Like I said, this was $8. And if I look up the perfumers, again, I get another discrepancy where on Parfumo, actually, it says that the perfumer behind this is Natalie Lorson. And if I look at it on Fragrantica, it will say Dora Bagrish. And I just think that like they might have worked on it together or somebody's wrong, but both of them are very well-known perfumers. Dora Bagrish is not somebody I'm as familiar with as Natalie Lorson. But I mean, for $8, and I believe this is a 50 ml, it looks really clear here. It's actually got kind of a purple hue. Does it? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm just thinking that because the box is purple. Well, the box is purple. No, it's pretty clear. But I just think that that's no, it is kind of purple. Anyway, it's this is a really good deal for $8, and $8 to me is like a sure sign that this is gonna go away. So check it out while you still can. And then I want to show you, I've worn this a few times, this Forever Red. This was a Bath & Body Works, a used Bath & Body Works products that I bought in a lot, but it's still pretty new because it's $17.50. So I know that this isn't that old. And it's surprising because it's almost half gone. So whoever got rid of it really liked it. But I do think that it's possible this was a tester at Bath & Body Works just because of that. And I'm wondering if Bath & Body Works is donating their returns or testers to the Goodwill because the Goodwill lately has had so much of this. And when I first smelled it, I can't remember what I said, but I remember I was thinking like, I wasn't really able to get the notes. Oh, I know what I said, because it still kind of smells like that to me. It kind of has like that red lipsticky kind of smell. This has fiery pomegranate, rich peony, rich vanilla rum, and oak wood. I think that when I see pomegranate, I expect it to be like really tart. It's a little bit tart, but that rich vanilla rum and oak wood really smooth it out. You know, it's not like a bright, super tart pomegranate smell. It's more of like a smooth perfume smell. It smells really good. And somebody in the comments, I believe it was Savor Salvage Scent, said it reminds her in the dry down of like a red licorice vine. And that's a pretty cool description. I can totally see that because it does have something kind of waxy and red. Like I was saying lipstick and she says licorice, like I can draw like a parallel there. Anyway, Bath & Body Works still has this and the perfumer's honoring Blanc, so I think it is definitely worth checking out while you can. And then the next one I wanted to show you, I actually talked about this pretty recently, but I just wanted to mention it again because I was doing some reading on it. This is Aqualina Pink Sugar. A lot of you know that, but it does have a pretty good perfumer behind it. It's, I think you say Shyamala Maizendu. And this is a good fragrance. It's to me, I think sometimes I shy away from perfumes that like are easy for me to recognize in the wild, because there's not that many that like I've smelled in the wild and been like, I know what that is. But Pink Sugar is definitely one of them. And it has like a very lemony, to me it smells like lemony, floral black jelly beans. So that's what I am smelling. When I wear this though, it smells pretty musky on my skin, I think. Or at least I don't pick up the sweetness for long. It just kind of like dries down into sort of a nice musky fragrance. So Shyamala Maizendu, she worked on a lot of the Good Girl fragrances. She worked on a lot of the Idole fragrances. She's worked with Les Liquide Imaginaire. Oh, and Prada Paradox. So all of those perfumes are quite expensive, very relevant. I mean, this is still somebody who's working today with fragrances, and they are the nose behind Pink Sugar by Aqualina, which is still available and still about $11 for this smaller bottle, maybe $15 for like a big bottle. The next one that I wanted to share is one that I just put into my collection. I do feel a little bit like worried about Britney Spears fragrances like disappearing, because if you look at some of them like Rocker Girl or Sunset Fantasy or Private Show, the fragrances that have been discontinued, like they still have like a following, and they become like really, really expensive, and then it's just like you have to get really, really lucky to get it for a good price. So I decided to pick up Circus Fantasy after watching Ruth Ann McKinnon. And then when I looked it up on Parfumo, it said that the perfumer is Laurent Legernac. And I feel like Laurent Legernac has been my favorite perfumer to discover recently. The first one that I knew that I really liked and didn't know who the perfumer was until I looked it up was Kenneth Cole Reaction for Her, which is like a aquatic cotton candy vetiver scent that I just think is really, really underrated. And then Laurent Legernac also did like Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker, and he did Bitter Peach for Tom Ford, and then Circus Fantasy for Britney Spears. So this one it's a sweet fragrance. It doesn't really smell like fantasy to me. It smells more like, it's kind of like cotton candy and cedar, which, you know, I'm mentioning a couple, I mean, I think he likes to make cotton candy scents, but it just has an interesting blend of fragrances. And I think that's what Laurent Legernac is really good at doing, taking like a really popular gourmand, but giving it like a little twist. So somebody like me who's not like, I don't really want to smell just like cotton candy, but add something else to it that makes it a little more interesting. So it's like a cotton candy cedar note, and you could see that as like I don't know, when I think of Circus, I think of like peanut shells, not really like cedar. But I mean, I guess there would, if you think of like an old circus wagon or like an old circus train, you could imagine like a lot of wooden wagons or old box cars or old chests, lots of like wooden wagon wheels. I don't know, but it's just a cool fragrance, whether it's circus or not circus. I just like that mixture of like a sweet, fruity, kind of candy-like, like very uplifting fragrance with something like cedar. Like cedar and candy, I don't know, it's just a good combination. And this one right now, even on Amazon, is only like $19. I paid $18 on eBay, and I think it's really worth checking out. The next one I have is Couture Couture by Juicy Couture, and this is also an Honoring Blanc creation. You know, Honoring Blanc also did Juicy Couture, or Viva La Juicy, and she also made Gingham for Bath & Body Works. I've been like looking into all of her fragrances, and I feel like the gingham thing really surprised me, because when I think of like a fragrance that maybe like really represents Bath and Body Works, it's got to be gingham. Like, that might not be everybody's favorite, but like I just feel like you can't deny that, like, that kind of like gingham is almost like their brand. It's almost like their, it looks like Bath and Body Works. It smells like Bath and Body Works. If you like Bath and Body Works, at some point you have to smell the original gingham, and that was created by Henri Blanc. But anyway, this one, Couture Couture. My son has been wearing Bleu de Chanel, and I really like it. I think there's something in it that smells like patchouli and then laundry detergent, which I think smells really great. And that laundry detergent vibe I get in that is the same thing in this Couture Couture. Like, it smells exactly the same, because that's what this one smells like to me. It's like florals, and then, but there's something in it that smells like a really, maybe like a tuberosy dryer sheet, but there's something soapy. There's something just noticeably soapy. And that's what I like about this fragrance, is it's got like a sweet soapy thing going on in it, like a citrus soapy floral. And it's similar to what's in Bleu de Chanel, and Bleu de Chanel definitely has that Chanel patchouli in it too, like a citrus Chanel patchouli laundry soap. Anyway, this is, you can get a big bottle for about $25. This is a small bottle that I picked up at Ross for either $9.99 or $14.99. I can't remember. But it's really good, and I think it's definitely worth trying. And then I have a very small bottle of Dazzle by Paris Hilton. And you can get a very big bottle for a pretty good price. You can get a very big bottle without a cap for like $18, or with a cap for like $23. I had a coupon from a seller on eBay who was selling small bottles of this, and so I picked this up. I think this is half an ounce. I would buy half an ounce, I think, of everything, even though, you know, it's not as good of a deal as buying a big bottle, just because I can't imagine going through 4.2 ounces of Dazzle in any, like, very quickly. But this is like a cherry, maybe heliotrope. It's a cherry floral, but it's different than a lot of the cherry fragrances now, where they're really heavy and syrupy or smoky or leathery. It's a cherry floral without like a lot of vanilla. There might be vanilla, but it's not like heavy. And the perfumer is Frank Volkel. We created a lot of fragrances for Le Labo, including Iris 39, which I think is super good and now discontinued. This fragrance doesn't smell like Iris 39 or anything, but like, this is a good perfumer, and this is a very inexpensive Paris Hilton fragrance that is worth checking out, especially if you like cherry, but you don't want like that heavy, obvious cherry. This is more of like a powdery floral cherry. And the last couple that I want to show you there's Ciara, which is just like something in my collection that I've talked about several times, but I just pulled it out yesterday and wore it again. This is still about $10. This is the 100% solution. That's what I have. It is the greatest powdery incense scent ever. It's very dry smelling. It's definitely vintage smelling, but I feel like vintage in a way that's like very current. Like, people like these kind of really incensey, dry, amber, spicy fragrances. I was wearing Scheherazade by Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab, and then I decided to wear this with it, and this is better. Like, this is just so good. If you like any kind of like head shop incensey, just spicy amber, like that whole thing, there's nothing better than Ciara. It's absolutely perfect, and it just doesn't look like that's what it would smell like. It just doesn't give you that vibe. If this was in like a way cooler bottle with like modern graphics and a squattier presentation, I just feel like this would blow people away. But instead, it's just sitting there kind of waiting for you to just take a chance on it. If you like incense, especially like a dry, powdery incense, I think you would love this. It also has like some raspberry. If you like Bath and Body Works Dark Kiss, it's sort of like that, but like way harsher, like a harsh, dry, but harsh in a good way, like a harsh, dry, kind of almost astringent, beautiful incense scent. And then I also have been wearing this one recently. So this one isn't available right now from Bath & Body Works, but it comes back. They have other products with this scent, like candles, but this is one of my very favorite Bath & Body Works. It's white tea and sage, and if you like Nest Indigo, I think you would really like this. If you like scents by DS and Durga, there's something about this that reminds me of like a DS and Durga scent, because they use a lot of things that I feel like are botanicals that smell sort of like essential oils, but like it's probably not an essential oil, or like there's essential oils in there, but there's also like a synthetic musk to kind of make it more modern. This kind of reminds me of that because it kind of smells like an essential oil fragrance, but much sweeter. Like there's something added in this to be sweeter, and it almost smells like it has a coconut musk. It says sparkling bergamot, white tea, fresh sage, violet woods. So whatever that woody note is, to me, is more of like a musky, woody note that kind of makes this not just smell like a aromatherapy spray, or like, you know, you concocted your own fragrance that somehow helps your well-being. It smells like those, but perfumey, and it's very long lasting. It does smell similar to me to Indigo Nest, especially in the opening. Indigo Nest is much sweeter in like a purple kind of floral type of way. But anyway, I think if you like those kind of more, they're not really natural perfumes, but like the idea of a natural perfume, like you want to smell like something in nature, white tea and sage is really good. Okay, I think I talked about all of these. I hope that you're having a great day. I hope that I have helped you maybe pick out some cheapies, like the next time you want to try something just for fun and you want to get like some fragrances that I think are worth taking the chance on. Anyway, yeah, so leave me some comments about what your favorite inexpensive fragrances are. Let me know if you've tried any of these, and have a great day. Bye. Subscribe.